Hello again, everyone. onlydraven here, and thank you so much for tuning in to this week's video. I think we're on episode 11 at this point, I believe. So thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate that. Another good week behind me. We'll talk a little bit more of that in a moment. Overall, everything went well. We'll do our weekly check-in, talk about how the week went weight loss-wise, what's been going on with the diet, as well as just talk about a couple other things that have been going on for me here lately. We'll start off with a couple big things happened for me this week. I had my birthday. I turned 40 years old. A Draven looks at 40, for you Jimmy Buffett fans. It's definitely a milestone. You know, halfway to dead, I mean, if you want to look at it that way. But I'm feeling pretty old at this point. But I'm glad that I started this whole process by this point, because losing weight is, of course, harder the older you get. So I'm already getting up there in years, so it's good to get this process started so that way I can enjoy the rest of my life, if you will, at hopefully a healthier weight and feeling better. But it was a good birthday. Nothing major. Didn't overeat at all. We did grab a quick bite out to eat. I had something that I mentioned before. I got a chicken soft taco at Taco Bell. Scraped the inside out of their tortilla and ate that. Add a little bit of light sour cream to it. One fills me up. The insides of one chicken soft taco with a little sour cream puts me at my 3 ounces, which is how much I'm able to eat per meal at this point. It's going to be July, so almost 2 more months, or a little less than 2 months, before I step into the final phase of the diet, which is the phase I'll be on the rest of my life, phase 4. And at that point, I go up to about 6 ounces of food a meal, although at this point, I don't know how I'm going to pull that off, because I have a hard time enough getting down to 3, but we'll talk about the diet again in a moment. So the birthday happened, had my chicken soft taco. It was very tasty. And then also over this past week on May the 29th was my 2-month anniversary from having the surgery, which was March 29th. This is 2017, in case this is an old video by the time you're watching it. So 2 months post-surgery, a little over 5 months total. So it's odd to think it's been half a year since I started this whole process. Half a year since I used to be able to go out and just eat whatever I want and eat as much as I wanted. I don't really miss it most of the time. You know, I see commercials or ads on the computer for, especially when pizza pops up. That's the one that usually I'm like, but I miss pizza. But I've discovered several different pizza type substitutes that have been helping me have that pizza flavor. In fact, for some of you may know, I actually released my first cooking video this week. As my very first one. I felt it was a little amateur. Definitely going to try to do better with those as I do more, and I do plan on making more of those, specifically targeting bariatric friendly foods, desserts, appetizers. Definitely going to try to stay with the weight loss surgery theme, so that for you folks who are watching these videos and have gone through the surgery or are going to go through the surgery, we'll have some examples of different meals you can make as you go along. So that video was awesome. I'll put a picture of the end card for that up here, and I'll have a link to that at the end of the video as well after the credits. So if you'd like to see that video, click that or go to my YouTube page. You can see that there. So the 2 months since the surgery, my wounds, and if you will, or I guess I call them wounds, scars, incisions, whatever, those are pretty healed at this point. I mean, they're still there. I mean, I know I'm going to have permanent marks from those, but I'm not, like, they're not discomforting. I don't have any lumps, hard spots. I've seen people talk about different issues they've had. None of them really got infected. I want to say there were about 6 incisions and then some small scratches that I'm assuming were from tools during the surgery on my stomach. But there's, I want to say, 6 or 7 incisions total. I have a picture of my stomach with the incisions right after I had the surgery, and I'll pop that up here as well. That's what it looked like beforehand. Like I said, for overall size, they've shrunk a little bit, and they're, like I said, they're definitely healed. They're smooth. They're not big gaudy scars or anything, but there are several little what you call lines across my stomach and abdomen area. So I figure if I reach that point where I I'm able to go out without a shirt on, where I feel comfortable, like maybe a beach or a pool or something like that. I assume I'm probably just, because if people look, I'm just going to tell them that my wife stabbed me and tried to take all my money, and that these were defensive wounds, and that I need help. Or I will tell them that I was attacked by a shark, saving a damsel or child in distress at the ocean, and was able to fight off the shark and yet save at least 3 to 4 people for my efforts. So one of those 2 lines will probably describe these the best. I recommend coming up with one of your own. We all don't want to use the same one, but be imaginative. So overall, those have healed real well. I don't have any soreness, but other than that, good week. I do want to mention my free cookbook giveaway. If you've been watching my videos, you know that I'm giving away a free bariatric surgery cookbook. 140 recipes, specifically designed for folks who've had weight loss surgeries, all the different weight loss surgeries. It's designed for all of them. I'm giving that away. The contest ends June 2nd, so there's only a couple days left. If you're interested in participating in that, I'll put a link to that at the end of this video, in the end of the credits as well. You can go there and it gives you all the instructions on how to get your name in the hat for that drawing. There's no cost to you. I'm going to pay shipping. You pay nothing. It's just a couple clicks and likes, and that could be yours. So definitely jump on in there. I've already had a bunch of people put in, but there's still definitely time to get your name in the hat as well. Win you some free loot. So other than that, I guess without further ado, we'll move into our weekly checkup. So in this week's weekly check-in, we're just gonna cover how my week went, changes and things that I've come across, and how well the diet's going overall. It was another good week. I lost 3 pounds this week, a little less than I've been losing per week, but again, anything lost is a success, so I'm happy with that. Losing 3 pounds puts me down to, currently that puts me at 314, which means I am down 117 pounds from when I first started this process. So that's pretty awesome. I'm only 14 pounds away from breaking the 300 mark. So I am excited about that. I definitely want to bust through that, be under 300 again. Like I said, I lost a little less this week, and while I feel like I lost a little less weight, this week I actually feel like I felt a bit more physical progress, in as much as this week I was able to comfortably wear size 48 jeans. I started in May wearing in December wearing size 56. So that means I'm down 4 pant sizes, I believe that is, and I can wear them comfortably. I bought a pair of 52s about 5 weeks ago, right before I went back to work, and at the time they were a bit snug. So in 5 weeks, I've dropped from that snug 52s to a comfortable 48s, which is pretty awesome, in as much that I'm losing weight physically. I'm actually starting to feel some size difference, especially in my waist and stomach area, which has been the slowest to lose. The majority of the weight that I've lost up to this point has really been in my neck, face, shoulders, arms, and legs. I have lost some in my back and stomach as well, but that has seen the least amount of difference. So this was kind of a nice little jump to feel myself be able to go to those smaller pants. Downside being, I just bought pants 5 weeks ago, and they're like new, and they're too big for me now. I can't wear those. In fact, I had a size pair of 50s in there that I kind of skipped right past. I was wearing the 52s until they just got to the point they were falling off, and I jumped right to the 48s. So 52s will be a backup. I've got a couple of 48s and a 50 there. But the 52s I have to retire now. I actually took 4 bags of clothes to my local Goodwill today that had all way too big stuff for me. 4X shirts and jeans and dress pants and all that stuff that was too big. Even some coats and jackets that were way too large for me. So I wanted to donate those because a lot of them were in really good, if not almost new condition. I didn't want them to go to waste. But I've definitely felt the difference there. The second place I felt the difference is in my arms. I have been going to the gym a little bit less the last week just because of my birthday and everything else going on. We've been really busy, just in my personal life. But I do have some free weights at home, just hand weights that are adjustable sizes. And I have been trying to use those every single day. So I'm actually starting to feel muscle in my arms and a little bit of definition. Like, I'm not going to sit here and flex for you yet because, I don't want to rip this shirt. But I'm to the point now, like when I run my hands down, I can literally feel where the muscle starts and such. Before, I didn't. It was just a lump of flab on my arms. I still have a little bit of skin hanging underneath, a little bit of meat underneath there, but I'm to the point that I can actually feel muscle. Like, I have a little bit of definition in both of my arms, and they stay relatively sore since I'm kind of working them every day. But it's nice to have that, to feel, again, some physical process. And if I did do flex into a mirror, I can see a little bit of definition there, so I see that the muscle is increasing. Or maybe even not even increasing as much, but the flab around it is fading away, so it's finally visible. My legs are actually pretty cut at this point, but my legs have always been relatively muscular, because they've had to carry all this mass around for years, And that's the thing, fat people have fat legs, but under those fat legs there's some muscle because it's carrying around a lot of weight every day. So most of my cardio has been walking, as the weight has been really fading off my legs, you can definitely see a lot of muscle in my legs at this point, which is, again, very nice to be able to squeeze a part of my body and it not be all Play-Doh-y squishy, instead actually being kind of hard and muscly. It's a nice change I have not had in a very long time. So overall, really good week. Had to drill a couple new holes in my belt because, again, just bought the belt 6 weeks ago and I'm down 3 holes on that, and so I didn't want to waste the belt already. Luckily, that's something I can extend the life of, but it's still a really good and expensive belt. I didn't want to throw it away. But it's been a really good week. I'm still losing. I'm feeling physical change, which at this point I'd almost rather have more than the number. Knowing that I'm dropping in size, smaller pants, and I'll be able to wear smaller shirts, is just as good, if not better, than seeing a number on a scale go down. Because, man, that number on the scale can stay the same forever. If I look skinny, that's what I'm going for. Plus, muscle weighs more than fat, and that's something that most of you probably already know. But in case you don't, as you work out and add exercise into your routine and you start gaining muscle, muscle weighs more than fat. So you may be losing fat, but the scale may not move quite as much because for the fat you're losing, you're also gaining muscle in different parts of your body. So if you're only seeing, half the amount of weight you were losing, or even none, check other ways of looking. Are your clothes fitting looser? Do your arms and legs feel tighter? Can you feel more muscle in your body? You may be making progress that you're not really realizing because you're too focused on a number on the scale. And we all want to see the number drop. I mean, we all have a goal, and that goal is almost always number-based. For years, people always ask me, how much weight do I want to lose? And I've always said the same thing. I just want to know if my socks match, because I can barely see my damn feet at this point. So it's one of those things where numbers are almost always the goal. I want to drop 4 pant sizes. I want to lose 30 pounds. I want to hit a weight of 150 or whatever your size is at that point. We set our goals with numbers so much that we focus on the number. The number becomes everything. And when we see that number not getting to us as quickly as we'd hope, or even worse, stepping a step back and getting further away from that number, that is a slippery slope we put ourselves on that could very quickly lead us to losing faith in ourselves, and losing faith in what we're doing, our surgeries, our diets. And when it comes to eating, we don't need a lot of excuses to lose that faith, to jump back into our bad habits. So remember, the number is not everything. Look for other ways to see your progress. The scale doesn't move. Can you walk further? Can you jog? Can you go do something that before you'd been too tired to do? Are you able to go for a walk in the park and not have to sit down and take as many breaks? Are you able to walk up the stairs quicker? I'm at the point now where I can jog right up the stairs in my house. When I started this, it was everything I could to pull myself up the railing. That's an amazing physical change I've experienced that really has nothing to do with a number. It's just I'm healthier. I have more stamina. I don't get tired as easily, both physically and just draining wise, like sleep wise. Like, I find that now I can go with less sleep than I used to. I only slept 6 hours last night and I feel perfectly fine. Whereas I historically, at my largest, always made sure I had 8 to 9 hours of sleep, because if I didn't, I was a zombie. I just have more energy and more drive now. I guess I need less sleep. There's less recharging because there's less to recharge. So look for those other improvements. Don't always focus on the number. The number can be deceiving, and can trick you into think that you're not progressing when in fact you really are. There's nothing wrong with having a number goal, and I have one as well. I have a weight goal I'm shooting for. I have a certain amount of pounds. Every week I talk to you guys about the number I've lost, because that's the easiest way for me to express to you all my progress. Since you really can't see me in person, you really don't get the whole delicious picture of what I've got going on here. It's hard for you to see that physical change, so you can't see how loose my clothes feel for me. But it's important to have other goals besides the number. Hey, I want to be able to go to the park and walk a full lap without having to take a break. Hey, I want to be able to, go play with my kids for an hour outside and not have to tell them to go play while Daddy sits down and, has a drink. I don't have kids. I'm hypothetically, for you people, I don't have children. But, look for other ways to measure your success, because there are many ways to do it. And if you focus just on one of them, it's very easy for you to get discouraged when that goal does not appear to be getting closer as quickly as you'd like. So that's my motivational speech for this week. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Like I said, don't always worry about the number. I guess that would be my advice for the diet for this week. So with that, we'll move into kind of a sum up. All right, trying to keep the video a little short this week. I'm going to go ahead and sum up and call it a day. Couple things to just kind of touch base on with everybody. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I did my first cooking video this week. I'm actually planning on doing a couple more over the next few weeks. Where I've sit down and I found a couple recipes on Pinterest that I'm interested in doing. Not sure if I'll tweak them or do them exactly. I think the next one I'm very likely going to just stick right to the recipe that I found. But it looks like I'm making a smoked sausage and broccoli and cheddar pie. It doesn't have a crust, so for you people worrying about carbs, there's none of that. And so that's something I'm definitely looking forward to. I think we're going to try to do that here in the next few days. And then I have another one for a Parmesan crusted chicken with bacon that I'm going to put together and definitely have for you guys as well. If you saw my last one, I did the mini bell pepper pizzas. They were phenomenal. They're very delicious. If you watch the video, you'll see at the end I kind of mentioned the sauce stays a bit runny because the pepper doesn't really soak it up as well as the portobello mushroom did the week before. So I would recommend putting a little something in the bottom of the pepper, maybe a little bit of cheese or something under the sauce to help kind of thicken that up a little bit as it cooks. But it was very tasty. It was very good. People have asked me about the fat content because there's so much cheese and meat on there. It's actually not very high at all. All the fat cheeses that I used were low-fat, reduced-fat, or non-fat cheeses. Turkey pepperoni has almost no fat in it, and it has very high protein. And the only thing that had a little bit of really fat in it was the bacon, and it was not much, and I was very sparingly with the bacon bits. The sauce that I got was even a low-fat sauce. I actually spent like 20 minutes going through all the different sauces in the grocery store to look for the one with the lowest fat. The Alfredo sauce, the white pizza sauce I used, was a little bit higher. So if you're looking to use that, make sure you plan that accordingly for your diet count. That the white sauce is a little bit more fattening than the traditional red sauce that I found. But there's a lot of them to choose from. Low sodiums, low fat. Be sure to look through and find the one that's you enjoy but best fits your diet needs. So definitely stay tuned for the 2 new videos. I'm going to put those out. Again, get your name in the hat for the drawing of my free cookbook. If you like seeing recipes being cooked, why not have a list of 140 of them? Again, I'll have the video at the clip at the end of this video that you can click on, which explains how to get in the drawing, no cost to yourself. The only other thing I really wanted to mention today, again, and I know I mentioned this a lot, is my Patreon page. I had some big donator kick on there, so I pretty much hit my first goal at this point, which is to have a website. I'm actually in the process of starting that now. To transfer my domain name from the site I bought it to the site I want to host it, it requires me to wait 60 days. So I'm a little over 30 at this point. So I'm just waiting for that to finish up so I can transfer it over. And then once I have it transferred over, putting the site together should only take me a couple days. And then I'm going to have an official website. And the domain name for that will be www.onlydraven.com. I was able to get the domain name I really wanted there. So keep a watch for that. I'll definitely let you all know once that's up and running. And then that'll be a kind of a central hub everyone can come to see all of the different stuff that I'm doing. Cooking videos, all my videos on YouTube, social media sites. If you have questions, comments, feedback, I'm going to have places for you to do all of that, as well as link to, I do Twitch streaming as well, so there'll be links to my Twitch. There'll be a lot of different things that you can kind of get involved in as well, so keep an eye out for that. In the same note of Patreon, thank you so much to all my patrons who have donated this month. I definitely appreciate that. I appreciate everyone that's been assisting me with this progress. For those of you who have earned different bonuses and perks, as we hit the end of the month, I'm going to definitely reach out to contact everyone and be able to kind of give out all of those perks as well. I think I'm going to kind of do that end of monthly so I can do it all at once at this point. Luckily, right now, my patrons list is relatively small, so I could probably get it all done at one time. As that grows, I'll probably have to space it out more and more throughout the month. But right now, again, I appreciate those of you who are my patrons, and I'm definitely going to reach out to you here in the next day or two, probably this weekend, to get those taken care of. So if you have suggestions, if you've been to my patron page and you see perks, and there's certain perks that you would like to see, maybe rewards at certain donation levels, things that you think would be something you would like to partake in, please let me know, either here or on my patron page specifically, which is right here, www.patreon.com/onlydraven. I believe it's right here. Definitely check that out, and if you have any suggestions or things that you'd like to see or things that might interest you into being part of that, definitely put them in there. I'd love to see them. I'm always looking for new ideas. So that's going to sum it up for this week. Thank you so very much for tuning in again. Keep an eye out this weekend for hopefully my next cooking video, and I guess that's it. Thanks again. Have a great week.